In December of 2010, police were searching for missing person Shannon Gilbert when they made a gruesome discovery. A graveyard of young women's bodies murdered left along Gilgo Beach in New York. Gilbert's body was recovered along with an unidentified female Peach's unidentified toddler, Melissa Barthélemy, Megan Waterman, Amber Lynn Costello, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Jessica Taylor, Valerie Mack, and an unidentified Asian male. These 4 women, who were presumed sex workers, were all in their 20s when they went missing. Their bodies were found wrapped in burlap, among other similarities which led police to the term Gilgo. 4. Some say disgraced Suffolk Chief of Police James Burke, who was sentenced to 46 months in prison for corruption, impeded the investigation by dismissing the FBI. In 2022, the new police commissioner in Suffolk County, Rodney Harrison from New York City, formed a task force dedicated to solving the murders. He went right to work. The day before Amber Costello went missing, witnesses described seeing her with a big man who looked like an ogre and him driving a Chevy Avalanche. This is what led the task force to Rex Heurmann. He was married with 2 kids and was an architect who owned RH Consultants in Manhattan. He traveled by train to and from work from this dilapidated Long Island home. He carried his personal phone. At the same time, he used a burner phone to set up dates with sex workers and his victims. This was a crucial piece of evidence. He even used the burners or the victim's phone to contact their family members to taunt them. It was evident to police Rex was living a double life. His internet search history consisted of abuse, rape, and child porn. He would look up information on the victims' families and even search for information on the very task force investigating him. Police watched Heurmann throw a voluntary sample of DNA in a pizza box in front of his Manhattan office. Police grabbed the sample. The hair sample found on the pizza crust matched one found on Megan Waterman. He was still contacting sex workers, so police had to move in quick due to public safety concerns. Police are seen here arresting the suspect on his way to work. Rex Heurmann is a very big man, about 6 foot 6 inches tall. As you can see him here towering over the arresting officers. Most of the female victims were only around 5 foot tall or shorter, and petite in size. One of his ex-employees, Eric, spoke with the New York Post and described him as having a history of hiring petite women that resembled the victims. He also referred to him as cheap and very often demeaning to women. He said he always had a sinister look in his eyes and was not surprised to find out he was the suspect. Heurmann said he was not guilty when he was arrested, and police have him under 24-hour suicide watch.
Rex Heurmann is a demon that walks among us, a predator that ruined families.
His wife and daughter had no idea the monster Rex is and were shocked when the police told them. He did the killings when his wife was out of town. His daughter worked with him at his Manhattan architect firm. After his arrest, his wife filed for an uncontested divorce. They had a 24-hour police detail set up with multiple agencies involved. Police eventually blocked off a large portion of the street a few days after they began collecting evidence, making it almost impossible to get a good view of the home. But not before. Drones captured some of the evidence collection as police and forensics scour the home looking for anything to strengthen their case or perhaps link him to other murders. If this evidence collection doesn't link Rex back to the other murders, it could mean another serial killer who dumps bodies at Gilgo Beach is still on the loose. It took the police well over a week to search the home. They left no stone unturned. Police said the place was cluttered, which makes a search on a molecular level much harder. Police think he might have kept trophies of the victims. They found another discovery in the killer's basement, a walk-in gun vault filled with guns. It was said on social media he had a soundproof room. Police Commissioner Rodney Harrison clears up any rumors about a soundproof room.
If there is a vault, there is no soundproof room.
An interior designer, Catherine Shepard, told Daily Mail that Heurmann kept a large locked room in his basement, and he became skittish when she asked to enter the room. He stated it was filled with guns. She wonders what he might have been hiding in that room. It was a big room. What was happening in that room? Is that where he took the women? Catherine said. Police brought in a cadaver dog along with excavating equipment to dig up the killer's backyard to see what evidence they may unearth. This neighbor heard digging in the middle of the night.
Yeah, so when I was around 18 or 19 years old, I was watching TV in my basement, went outside. It was like 1 or 2 in the morning, same times that I saw him, park his car in front of his house and leave it idle. But When I was 18, 19 years old, I heard digging in the backyard next door.
Police removed over 200 guns when they gathered evidence from his home. A life-size child doll and many covered objects were also removed. Police also searched a South Carolina property, a timeshare location in Las Vegas, and storage units in Amityville, New York, all tied to the suspect. In this interview done in 2022, more than 10 years after the murders, Heurmann ominously talks about his favorite tool.
I have one tool that's pretty much used in almost every job, and it's actually a cabinet maker's hammer.
Oh, okay, cabinet maker hammer, okay.
It is persuasive enough when I need to persuade something.
Not someone.
Something. And it always yields excellent results. Yeah. And at the end of the project, whatever piece of furniture or what I'm working on, it always helps it come out beautifully.
Okay, great. So you would be kind of that kind of hammer for your business? That's what you're saying? If that doesn't exist, that's what you would be?
Sometimes I have to be the heavy framing hammer.
The heavy framing hammer.
Other times I'm the lightweight hammer just to nudge things along.
Can you smile?
That is.
Former escort Nikki Brass nearly escaped death as she went on a date with the suspect, but left early due to her suspicions.
He was like, "Oh, are you a true crime buff?" And I am, I'm not gonna lie. So we got on that subject and we talked about like certain serial killers and little things, and I said, "Well, have you heard of the Gilgo beach murders?" And I said, "Yeah, everybody from Long Island has, we're all following that case." And then he started like talking about it, and he tried to say like, you know, he and hypotheticals and like what he thought, but it was the way that he was saying it didn't seem like a true crime fan who just wanted to talk about it. I don't know, I feel like he was just like, well, they were all escorts anyway, kind of thing, or like just little things like that.
He was saying that to you?
Yes. He was almost like agitated that I didn't want to go home with him.
So he wanted to go home again
afterward, yeah, towards the end, he asked if I was going to go back with him. And I didn't want to be like impolite, so I tried to be nice. And I was like, you know, it's really late. I'd have to follow you all the way out to Nassau. I don't know the area, and I have to drive back at night. And he was like, oh no, you should leave your car here. Why would you take your car? You could just come in mine. And that like really like weirded me out. I was like, I wouldn't get in the car with somebody, I don't know you, I'm not gonna get in your car. And
how do you take it?
He seemed just agitated, like, oh, I paid for a date, I came all the way to Suffolk, like, I'm here and doing all this work, and now she's not gonna come back with me. I was scared because he had this very, like, overpowering, like...
Standing over you kind of deal?
Yeah, kind of intimidating. He tried to give me a hug goodbye, but it was very, like, uncomfortable and weird, and just everything about it was very, very strange. He seemed like he enjoyed talking about it too much. Not like somebody who empathizes with the victims and is following the case.
Did he seem to be fascinated with like the how or where the bodies were or who he thought did it? Like where did his curiosity take him?
Yeah, he would bring up like, he brought up the bags they were in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And like how? Like how did he talk about him? The camouflage burlap?
Yeah, the burlap sacks. He just talked about the burlap sacks and bodies going into burlap, and he said like
how so? What did that mean, bodies going into
he tried to, I'm not gonna say who, he tried to kind of be like, I said, who do you think it is, hypothetically, and he tried to put the blame on somebody and kind of relate it to the burlap sacks, just to, I guess, make me feel more comfortable. But I don't think at the time they had even talked about the burlap sacks.
Did this madman lure victims back to his house like John Wayne Gacy? Police think the murders occurred in Rex's home. Comment down below what you think they are going to find. After Rex's arrest, BTK killer Dennis Rader wrote into Fox and listed similarities between the two. He said, we were arrested age 59, married with 2 kids. We both were a husband, a dad, and longtime serial killer stalker who used electronic devices and lived in a neighborhood undetected. He goes on to say DNA and electronics were his downfall, much like mine. The convicted killer claims he predicted the similarities years ago. I was correct, Rader said. Rex Heurmann is innocent until proven guilty. All claims made in this video are allegations. At the time of the making of this video, Rex was only being charged with 3 of the 4 Gilgo murders. He has pled not guilty. Police are hopeful to charge him with the 4th victim, Maureen Brainerd Barnes. Some experts predict more murders tied to Rex that may come out with the mountain of evidence being collected and the facts surrounding the case. If you like this video, please make sure to hit the subscribe button to get notifications for part 2, where I will document the trial and evidence and any new shocking developments in this case. Thanks for watching.